Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katrina and today I'm going to be sharing with you some travel tips in regards to what to bring when you're traveling. So these are things that I would consider essential if you're trying to travel really light. So I've done a lot of backpacking myself and I know at every stop I would go through everything and take items out and just leave them behind because everything is it feels like it weighs more than it even looks like it should weigh. So this is the first thing. It doesn't have to be exactly this one. This one's seen better days. But something along these lines. These here, if you pack it with something like this, put all of, let's say, your socks or all of your t-shirts or something in something like this, it's easier to find if you have a backpack where you can't like lay it out like a suitcase to see everything. Or even if you have a suitcase, it keeps things organized. And the nice thing about this is later I would put dirty laundry into this. So I would usually take multiples of these, sort things out, put them in stuff like this, and then later I'd put dirty clothes inside of these. Another tip that I would do for your clothing is roll everything. The more you roll stuff, it takes up less space, but it also doesn't look as wrinkled when you pull it back out again. The other thing I would do to save space is if you have pairs of shoes or even boots, take socks or clothing that's rolled up and stuff it inside of those, inside of your shoes or your boots, and that will keep the shoes or boots from getting wrecked as well as save space because then it's not an empty space in your bag. So maybe you've seen it before. You can also get those bags that you can vacuum pack kind of things. So you put everything inside a plastic bag and then you attach the vacuum to it and it sucks all the air out. Those things are fantastic. I do recommend them. But mostly for if you're traveling somewhere that you know you have a vacuum to use to do the same thing on the way back again. Otherwise you've just taken a lot of stuff there and you can't take it back home. So if you don't have something like that, something like this is helpful. So this is the same kind of idea except that it has straps that you tighten instead of trying to vacuum pack something. So it opens up like this. So item inside, once it's inside then you would roll it up. Roll up the top of this and then tighten these, and then you can fit something as large as this is my son's snowsuit, and it was a very small package inside of here. So something like this is super handy, especially if you are going somewhere that you won't have a vacuum to bring home the same things you brought down with you. So let's talk about toiletries. Toiletries, though small, are often items that weigh the most in your bag and are essential, so you kind of have to bring a lot of them along, but you don't really want to bring the big bottles along. So what I would use, items like this. So these ones here, you can open them up, and elastic on it to know which one's which, but you'd fill it up inside of there, and then when you use it, it has the little squeeze thing like that, so you just squeeze it. This here is good for sunscreen or shampoo, conditioner, that kind of thing. Oops. Anyways, but those were really handy, and you can reuse them, so you can wash them out easily. The other thing I did find is, though you could use those for shampoo, Lush actually has a shampoo soap bar. I guess soap is not the right word, but it's like a shampoo bar, and so this here you can actually use to wash your hair. And then the nice thing about that is that you're not carrying around a big shampoo bottle, and it lasts for a really long time. So depending how many other toiletries you're bringing along, I found this here to be really handy. So this here has got the hook for it here. So I would put like toothpaste and toothbrush in the top. I've got Q-tips in here, put, let's say, deodorant here. I had this little thing that I'd put hair elastics in, and then any other makeup or other products I would put here. Now the nice thing about this is if you are backpacking or going somewhere that's maybe not as fancy, there's not always a dry counter to set stuff on, and so oftentimes you don't know where to put your makeup bag. So this here, I would just hang this over top of, let's say, the door or on the side of the sink or something like that, so it would keep it clean, and it actually also folds up. You can put items here. I've got some Band-Aids in it. So it's nice and compact to bring with you. Other things that I would consider essentials Sunglasses. Again, most people bring sunglasses, but sunglasses were one of those things that I tended to forget when I was leaving maybe a cold winter here and going somewhere warm. Sometimes I just wouldn't think to bring them, and then I would get there and I'd buy myself another pair of sunglasses. Another item that I always would forget, but is very nice to have along, is headphones. So a lot of planes nowadays, they sell you the headphones if you want to watch a movie. So if you have a pair along, these are actually ones that I have bought at some point on a plane. And I just keep them with my travel stuff, so that way if they do have movies and you have to buy the headphones, I have a pair already with me. So this might be obvious, but isn't essential. Tags. This is a cow one, because we're dairy farmers. A tag with something like this. Okay, so this just loops onto your bag. It's really a good idea to have tags that don't come off of your bag, because if your bag gets lost or something like that, you really don't want the tag to have fallen off of the bag. Another suggestion I would have is either to have business cards or to make something that has your name and your phone number on it and put it in one of the pockets of the bag. So in case your bag were to get lost and the tag was off of it, you could at least tell them that in, you know, the front pocket or whatever is also your address and your phone number. Something else that I found essential when I was traveling was something for all of your paperwork. So you tend to have a lot of maps and tickets and, you know, different papers and receipts for things, and I always found it handy to have something to keep that all together. So this one here was probably my favorite. I've had a few over the years. So I like that it had a front pocket for whatever, let's say, thing you were doing at that time. You just put it in there, you don't have to open it. Oh look, I have old boarding horse passes in here. So I like that this one had spots for your cards. I didn't typically carry my full wallet when I would travel, just because I didn't want to lose it. So I would put my cards in here, carry a pen in there, and it actually had zippers. So I like this because I would keep, let's say, the currency from where I had just left, as well as the currency where I was going, that sort of thing, and I would just keep it all together in here. And my passport, this fits your passport perfectly, both sides, so that way I never lost any important documents. Another thing that maybe is obvious but very handy, converters. So I've got one that has like multis. So this one here is nice because it does a whole bunch of different ones. So if you're traveling to multiple countries, it's always nice to have one that doesn't take up too much space but will work in different places. But definitely recommend having one of these. Just make sure that you check the voltage, that whatever you're plugging into it can actually work at that voltage, because there's a few things, not many, but a few things that don't work at different voltages. So this item might be really random, but it is so handy to have. Hold on, can you see? So that's a spork. It's a fork on one side, a spoon on the other side. You can get ones that have maybe a bit of a serrated knife or a serrated edge to the fork, which would be kind of your knife. But if you are traveling and you're eating from like the grocery store and things like that, let's say you buy yourself a yogurt or you buy a pasta salad or something like that, they don't always give you cutlery. And you don't realize the importance of it until you don't have it and you're trying to figure out how to eat a yogurt with your fingers, etc. It just doesn't work. So I have one more thing here that also was really handy during my traveling. So this here is a microfiber towel. I realize it's not all thick, lush, beautiful, but what's really nice about this is if you're traveling somewhere that doesn't have towels provided and you use your towel, let's say in the morning, and you've got to leave right afterwards, packing a wet towel in your bag is not only not enjoyable, but it's heavy and starts to smell, and you'll probably be throwing that towel out when you get to wherever you're going. One like this dries really fast and it doesn't absorb a lot of water, so it won't be heavy, and they have special stuff in it that makes it so it takes a lot for it to actually start smelling. So actually this was one of my all-time favorites during travel. In regards to bringing any blankets or sleeping bags, You can get some really lightweight sleeping bags, which is probably the best way to go. I will say though, if you're staying in hostels, a lot of hostels, because of bed bugs, they don't actually allow you to bring in sleeping bags. So just something to keep in mind. I did bring a sleeping bag with me on 1 or 2 of my trips that I needed it for, but for the most part, I was happy that I didn't haul around a sleeping bag because most places wouldn't even let you bring the sleeping bag into the room. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can watch more videos just like this. Bye guys, see you next time.